Tom.
Just tell me it's online.
Okay.
Bryce, I can hear you.
You might have to speak just a little bit louder, Tom.
Well, how does that sound?
Go ahead.
Well, first, I'd just like to say thanks. We're very excited from all of our coaches, administrators, and athletic directors. The hospitality we've been provided already and what's to come. I think we're all very excited about the future, not just this year, but a long-term type of agreement. Like from Bryce and I have been friends for a long time. This is kind of a great negotiations and starting of a
Modern technology, right?
Great.
Tom, we lost you for a second here. While we're trying to make connections, I do want to thank Newman University, Athletic Director Vic Trilly, and Compliance Director Joanna Pryor for setting this meeting up. Newman University has been a great partner with the Jayhawk Conference, and we appreciate all their help and everything else. So we appreciate that. I also like to introduce, while I can, the men's region director, Randy Stang. Athletic director at Hutchinson Community College is here. Randy, thanks. The men's assistant director, Kurt McAfee, the athletic director at Pratt Community College is here. Kurt also is the supervisor of officials for the KCAC, the NIA schools in Kansas. And we also like to welcome KCAC Commissioner Scott Crawford is here with us. So, Scott, we appreciate you being here to do that. So, we'd like to again thank all those in attendance. I'd also like to start off by welcoming new conference head coach Aaron Arnold, Highland Community College. Aaron, welcome to the Jayhawk Conference. Aaron has been an assistant at Highland, but this is his the first head coaching job in the conference, so we welcome you to our family. I'd also like to welcome Jesse Minalto, the head coach at Ellsworth Community College, Kevin Twait, the head coach at Iowa Central Community College. Those two individuals had earlier commitments and couldn't be here. And of course, I'd like to welcome Scott Strohmeyer, the head coach at Iowa Western Community College. Scott, appreciate you being here and taking part. So. Also, a special thanks to Steve Carpenter, the SID at Hutchinson Community College, and Mark Patrick, who will take on the role as a KJCC webmaster when the new website comes up, and a little bit about that later. Also, if you noticed up here in front, a little different backdrop than you normally see at a news conference. These are special made coolers made by Rubbermaid out of Winfield, Kansas. Mark worked with them, and each one of our colleges will be asked to take one of these home with them and to kind of commemorate the start of this new undertaking. So appreciate that. Obviously, we're here to have a media conference, and so we welcome all the media. And if I could, just going around the room, and if you're here, if you could just sound off and name and who you're representing, I'd appreciate that. Can we start over here?
Hey guys, Danny Welniak, KWCH 12.
Okay.
Eric Natson, KSN.
Jeff Gates, KSN.
Okay.
Dan Arizal.
Darren Dunn, Eagle Communications.
Alice Gold, Sports Radio 1410.
Okay.
And Lucero, Sports Radio.
Okay.
Wire Western Kansas Broadcast.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Paul Savage, Press Box, KGSO, Sports Talk Radio.
Okay. Tony, you didn't. Yeah. Tony's been a long-time friend of the Jayhawk Conference. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the media being here, taking part in this, and obviously it's important to not only the entire Jayhawk Conference, but certainly our football colleges, our football coaches, our fans, and our athletes to have the coverage that we get statewide through the media. So we appreciate that very much. I'd like to now introduce, I guess we don't have Tom back yet, so anyway, like to welcome Supervisor of Officials for the Jayhawk Conference, Craig Helzer. He's got a few rule changes to go over and cover that. So, Craig, you want to do?
Thank you, Bryce. Where's Carp at? Need to switch his computer. Hey, Kurt, holler at Carp. Is he back there?
Hey, Carl.
We just need to switch these computers over. I need to pick up to this one. This is interesting. We have a CFO website, and it's on Arbiter, and it costs our officials $125 to join, which we're required to do. But it has a test on there that we all have to take, and if you want to work, the MIAA is going to work 29 of our games this year. So all the Division II officials, if they want to be eligible for postseason, they have to get a 90% or above, and you get 3 chances to take it. It's a 100-question test, and that has to be done already. But this that we have, this track, who goes on and watches it, and the NCAA keeps track of it. So I have to sign my name in to be able to watch, so they can track who's watched the video and who hasn't. Because it's so important in officiating to watch film and stay current on everything they're trying to teach us. Okay, here. I wrote it. The first new rule change for the media is targeting. And targeting rule change doesn't really affect the Jayhawk Conference because our games aren't on video. But just for the media's information, in a Division I game that has replay, if they call a target on the field, it's immediately reviewed. If they look at it in the press box and they decide that it's not a target, this year that penalty comes off. Last year, they stayed with the 15-yard penalty and the player wasn't ejected. So if there's replay, they have the ability to take that off. In Division II, if you have access to the targeting to the referee at halftime and it's incorrect and the referee looks at it and sees it wasn't a correct call, and they can take that off and the player can play in the second half. But in the Jayhawk, we don't have instant replay, so if we call a target, that player has to set. So we really don't need to discuss the targeting rules. Okay, low hits on the passer. It's illegal to rush unabated. Unabated means that you're on by yourself and to hit the passer forcibly below the knees when he's in a passing posture. And we've got video to look at, and it explains it really well. It also includes a roll or a lunge. There's no foul if the passer's a runner. So the passing position is set here with 1 or 2 feet like I'm ready to throw the football. If he's running, there's no foul. If the defender wraps up, if he wraps up first and goes low, it's not a foul. However, as you'll see in the video I'm going to show, if I lunge at Bryce with my helmet first, low, and then wrap up late, it's going to be a foul for a low hit. the defender is fouled into or not if he's rushing unabated. So he's got to be unabated. If he's blocked into, it's not. Okay, I don't think we have an issue with this, and Bryce and I have talked. If we do, we're not going to worry about it. But if you have a contrasting jersey, in other words, they have different colors, there's 4 MIAA teams that can't wear a certain jersey at a certain time, but I don't think we have that, so we don't have to worry about that. Defensive player, if you're, like say, you're taking an option or a backwards pass, you can't be targeted. They just added that to the rule book as another player that's defenseless. This is one that's changed, and Paul, you were a basketball, football official. In basketball, if you're out of bounds, you have to jump in bounds and get 1 foot down before you have inbound status. Well, football was opposite. Last year, I could be out of bounds. Let's say I get forced out as a receiver. I could jump back and catch a pass, and because I was forced out, I don't have out-of-bounds status, catch it and be complete. Well, it's kind of confusing, so they decided to change it, clean that up. So now, if you're out of bounds, you have out-of-bounds status. You jump in the air and catch the ball, it's incomplete because you're out of bounds. You have to come back with 1 foot and touch in the field of play with the other foot off like basketball. So it's clarified that. Okay, personal fouls by the defense. We call it the defense team B. In the pass, if it was a pass play, if the quarterback, the ball was in the air, we had hands to the face of the defense, we had to go back to the previous spot because it's a pass play. Now we're going to go ahead and do roughing the pass. We're going to force that on the end of the last run as long as A keeps the ball, which is the offense. So now if you have hands to the face and the quarterback's throwing the ball and you catch the ball and run for 15 yards, it's going to go from that spot 15 yards. So that's a change. Last one. These are just editorial changes for rules, something we really don't need to concern ourselves with. Okay, this is a video on low hits on the passer.
The NCAA Rules Committee, the American Football Coaches Association, and CFO over the past several years have made remarkable progress in the areas of player safety. They've made numerous changes to impact on player safety, and in that continuing effort, in 2014, they've added another rule change that would have significant impact on safety. This is revolving around low hits on the passer. In fact, this is nothing more than an adaptation of the NFL rule that they've had for a number of years, but it does truly involve player safety. So what we're going to do, we'll break the rule down a little bit here and let's talk about it. 2 elements for the offensive player. When an offensive player is in a passing posture with 1 or both feet on the ground. So I think that's the first thing, and each of these videos will break down those elements. Then for the defensive player, he must be rushing unabated, and he shall not hit the passer forcibly at the knee or below. And it's important to note that we do say offensive player. We don't say quarterback. So that, in fact, covers a halfback pass or an end-around pass or anything like that. So having said that and established the elements of it, the defensive player may also not initiate a roll or lunge and forcibly hit his opponent in the knee area or below. So we've got quite a few elements to discuss here. Now there are some exceptions. One, it's not a foul if the offensive player is a runner, not in a passing posture. And this doesn't matter whether he's inside or outside the tackle box. So that's an important exception there. If he's a runner, it doesn't apply. So let's take a look at one that here to kind of establish what this rule change is all about. You'll see, you don't see it as well on this view, but in the next couple of views, you're going to see it pretty good. Here's the quarterback set up, and what you're going to see this player, defensive player, coming in right here, and when he does, you're going to see the action against the quarterback. Is he an offensive player in a passing posture? Yes. 1 or both feet on the ground? Yes. Now here comes the defensive player coming in. And I'll slow it down for you so you can see. And is it forcible at the knee or below? And it is. You'll see a couple other views from the back. That one pretty clear to you. But when you see these views from behind, I think that's where you'll get Here's the best picture right here. When you see this contact that comes in there, that's painful to even watch on video. This is the play we're trying to remove by this rule change. See the knee hyperextended there, and as that knee gets hyperextended right in this area, what we're going to have, this is the play that we're trying to eliminate. So you'll see a couple views of it there. All the elements, the passing posture, one or both feet. Now, these exceptions we talked about for the defender, here's two others that we have to remember. It's not a foul if the defender grabs or wraps the opponent up in an attempt to make a conventional tackle. That's just a wrap up and a tackle. We have to allow that. And the third area, it's not a foul if the defender is not rushing unabated or if he's blocked or fouled into. So that means he can be pushed into him, whether it's a legal block or an illegal block. In either case, those are not a foul and can be excused. So we'll see a few of these as we go along here. Let's take a look at this first one here. Quarterback, passing posture, becomes a runner for just a second and then back into the passing posture. Let's take a look on this one. I think we can break it down a lot easier here, and you'll see the contact. All right, first element, a little bit of a runner now right here. One or both feet on the ground, passing posture, and at this point the contact comes in low from behind him, and I think you'll see it pretty clear. That's a foul, and that's what this rule is designed to detect. Here's another one on here. The quarterback rolls down to the right, and again becomes a runner for a minute. Passing posture, now he tucks the ball and becomes a runner, but then he goes back into the passing posture and gets hit low. So we have several views of this, but this demonstrates what this foul is about, what the rule change is about, and why it is a player safety move. I have a couple other views, and you'll see why I think we want to eliminate this from the game. Here's probably the best view right here. And in this particular case, then you see right here the defender coming low, and in doing so hits him low, below, at the knee or below with a forcible blow. That's what we're trying to eliminate. Another shot right there, you see that low hit. Pretty much demonstrates what this foul is all about. All right, here's another one. And this the difficulty we may have, our referees, especially with the judgment, you can't see it real good there. Clearly looks like a low hit, and we have that. But what I want you to be able to look at here in this picture, all right, when we freeze this frame here and we go through it slow, you see there may be some contact above the knee at the thigh, but there's also equal contact, forcible contact at the knee. So that's some of the difficulty we're going to have in analyzing this play. This is a foul. But even though there's some slight contact at the thigh, the bulk of the forcible hit is at the knee or below, thereby making this a foul. So again, we're going to have some work to do on the judgment on these, and there are going to be some that are pretty tough, and this is just one of them. You don't get a good look there, but clearly we want to eliminate that kind of play. All right, the next one coming up, you see a corner blitz. And I'll run it back for you here. One more chance just to set the play up. When the play starts, this corner comes off to blitz from right here. And this is what we want to watch is his action. All right, comes in. You see him hit him pretty low there. It looks like it's at the knee. You'll get another view here when he comes in. And when he comes in here, goes low and gets that passer at or below the knee with forcible contact, that's a foul. Here's another look at it. Bang, gets him down low. A little difficult maybe to determine, but this one right here, quarterback is back, and this one now he goes low. It's very difficult to distinguish, but what we may have here is a little bit of a wrap up, and I'll try and break it down slow for you so you can see. When the end comes off, you see him coming in here. Now, there is some contact. There is some contact in here, but If it's purely a traditional tackle, just because it's a low tackle, that makes it legal. So
If you
is
teach
there
your
enough
players to
contact
wrap up
at the
first,
knee?
it's not
Again,
going to
this
get
is the
fouled. That's a
assessment
high-risk
the referee's going
indicator.
to have to make
It's
in
not
his
a foul.
judgment,
If they wrap.
whether that's a wrap-up and meets one of the exceptions. Again, you can't tell much from this view, but I think you'll see it in the end here, another one of our exceptions that takes place, and that's the blocked into. Now you see right here where they're coming, where he's coming in to make the play, and I'll go through it slow. Here he's pushed into it. He does clearly make contact below the waist, but he's pushed into him, probably on an illegal block in the back. But at any rate, we can excuse the low hit and contact on the quarterback because it is one of those exceptions that we've established where they're blocked into the passer. That is one of the exceptions and not a foul. Again, a couple of views of it to make sure we're clear on.
Okay, I think that probably gives us a good enough idea of low hits on the quarterback and what we're looking at. If we have any questions, we'll meet after the meeting interviews the coaches. If you have any questions about that, we can talk about it then. The next thing I want to talk about is something that's come across the pike that I didn't know about at the spring meeting, and it involves sideline control, sideline interference. Okay, the committee feels like, the NCAA committee feels like that we don't have enough clearance in the white, so we've gone back a little bit to the old rule. Now, if the sideline's not clear, we have one sideline warning. It's free, like we used to. I think we used to have two. Then we have 2 5-yard fouls for sideline interference, and that's not contact with an official running into a coach or a player. It's just if you're not getting back. And then we have a 15-yard penalty. Now, I'll tell all our officials we should never get to having a 15-yard penalty if we've had a warning and 2 5-yard penalties. That's the official's fault for not getting the sideline cleaned up. But I've got some video of that, and you'll see what we're talking about.
Hello, this is Rogers Redding. Sideline management and control has become an increasingly important topic over the past few years. As an officiating community, we need to be more focused and intentional on enforcing the rules we have in place for managing our sidelines. The video you are about to see was created through the facilities of the Pac-12 Conference by Tony Corrente, Pac-12 Coordinator of Officials. It correctly addresses 4 areas that need our attention. These are sideline control, allowances, obstructions, and coaches on the field. I encourage you to pay close attention to what you're about to see here and to look at it again before and during the season. Our expectation is that consistently across the country, officials, coaches, and players will adhere to the guidelines presented in this video.
The purpose of this tape is to ensure that coaches, players, game officials, and all personnel associated with the game understand that sideline management and control of the sidelines is of utmost importance. Rule 925 reads that while the ball is in play, that coaches, substitutes, and unauthorized attendants in the team area not be between the sideline and the coaching line or in the field of play. What this means is that 6-foot area from the sideline back, commonly referred to as in the white, should be left clear from the time that the ball is snapped until after the play completely concludes, which means that the teams who are on the ground or teams in a sideline area actually separate themselves and begin going back to the respective huddles or to the respective team areas. Encroachment upon this area will require that game officials will give the first occurrence a sideline warning to the head coach, informing him that his players and personnel need to keep themselves back of this 6-foot area. If there is a second occurrence at any time in the game, automatically a 5-yard penalty will result. The third occurrence, the same 5-yard penalty will also result, and any subsequent occurrences, a 15-yard penalty will result. Let's take a look at what we expect a sideline to look like, and how we expect team behaviors to occur. Here's a play at Western Illinois. Please note, if you will, the sideline action of both players and coaches, well out of the white area, well out of that 6-foot boundary that we just referred to. And as the play develops and officials go downfield, that 6-foot boundary area allows them to officiate the play to the best of their ability. So once again, the white area is to remain out of bounds only for officiating purposes until such time that a play has concluded, come to its fruition, and players have begun going back to the respective sidelines, benches, or huddles. This next video clip illustrates the concern about sideline management and sideline control. As you can see, coaches and players are in the white area. They are not in the coaching box, which is 6 feet behind the sideline, and that's where they should be. At this point, with the fact that players and coaches are in this white area and a snap is imminent, this will be a concern that will draw an automatic sideline control warning if it was the first occurrence. If this is the second occurrence in the game, a 5-yard penalty will automatically be instituted. If this happens to be the third one, another 5-yard penalty. If this is the fourth occurrence, it will be a 15-yard penalty for an unfair act. As you will see as this play develops, the sideline is going to step back, clear itself, and watch the second actions that take place. Through much of the play, you see players still in the white, and then they get out as the offense comes to that sideline. Immediately, as a play develops, you see players and coaches now coming onto the sideline, into the white, and somewhat onto the field. Players and coaches are not to come into the white area or onto the field until well after we see both teams finish their action and start to separate themselves to go to either respective sidelines or to their own team huddles. Once again, here is a video clip that shows coaches in the white area, both on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. It doesn't matter whether or not the offense is going toward you or going away from you. Coaches and players are not allowed into the white. So when you see this coach at the 46-yard line in the offensive backfield, this is enough to draw the warning. You see the coach at the 40-yard line and another coach at the 36-yard line. All three of these coaches are suspect to sideline warnings and all the ramifications of their actions. In a moment, we will be looking at a play that will draw the attention of reverse mechanics, or as we see, an interception in which game officials cannot actually do their duties to because of the coaches in this area. So once again, coaches are instructed to understand whether you're on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, you could be given sideline warnings and possible penalties for being in this white area during the course of live ball action. This next clip clearly illustrates the issue at hand. Coaches, players, team attendants must be at a minimum of 6 feet behind the sideline. As you can see in this case, we have numerous coaches in the offensive backfield, numerous coaches on the defensive side of the ball. As the play develops, you'll notice that the crowd begins to clear a zone for the players and action to occur. But nonetheless, when the play is over, as you will see in this next sequence, when the play is over, coaches and players begin to surround the game officials, not allowing them clear view of the action in the sideline. And as a result, this coach, as you will see, who steps in front of the referee and pushes him aside actually, could generate a major penalty for contact with the game official, but nonetheless, just stepping on the field and coming into the area prior to this offensive player leaving the sideline, going back toward his own team area, could draw the sideline warning. Let's be careful. Once again, here you see numerous coaches in the white area in the offensive backfield. First glance, it may appear that this is innocent, nothing wrong with it. However, we're going to see a sequence of events that occurs with coaches in the white area in the offensive backfield that will interfere when we end up having the reverse mechanic of an interception or a fumble recovery. Once again, the sideline is to remain completely clear, void of players, attendants, and coaches until after the dead ball has concluded. And once again, players are now returning to their sidelines or returning to their huddles. We are not to allow coaches to interfere in this white area whatsoever during live ball action. This next play has a very unique situation. First of all, game officials should never allow a play to occur, especially a kickoff, with coaches in the white. In this case, you see the coach at the 33-yard line at the bottom of the screen. Prior to putting the ball in play, this coach must be out of the white area. Officials do not allow the coaches to make a mistake. Do not penalize them if they're in the white and you allow the play to continue. Clear the sideline prior to every play. Make sure they're out of there. Be preventative. Now as the play develops, watch what happens during the return of the kick. And at the top of the screen, you see the coach who gets excited and is going to run along with the player at the top of the screen. He's in the white the entire time, obstructing the vision and possibly the work of the game officials themselves. This would draw a sideline warning and or a 5-yard penalty if it was the second, third, or a 15-yard penalty if it was the fourth occurrence. So once again, all of these
these are allowances. These are things.
This next play now talks about some of the allowances that will be given to coaches. As you will see as this play develops, the sideline is clear, and there's no penalties, no obstructions, no warnings to be given. However, as the play develops, you see at the conclusion of the play, as the play is over, coaches now step forward. Play is over, players are separated, coaches step forward, they come onto the field. We allow the coaches to take a couple of steps onto the field to congratulate and or to coach their players. So if a coach comes out to give direction to one of his offensive or defensive players, as long as he remains near the sideline, he's okay. We never let them get out halfway to the numbers or even to the numbers. All of that would be instantaneous penalties for coming too far on the field of 5-yard penalties. So we'll take a look at some other illustrations. So coming on the field to provide plays, to give direction, and or to congratulate players will be allowed. The next play gives a very good example of this. In this play, you see a coach coming onto the field because his player made a fantastic defensive play. Congratulating him, patting him on the rear end, A-OK. Not a problem with congratulating your players. High fives. The only thing we want you to be aware of, don't rush on the field. Do not taunt your opponent. That defensive player, the offensive player of your opponent, deserves the same respect that your player did for such a great play. So you let you come onto the field, coaches, to give a congratulatory to your players. You do not come all the way out on the field. Once again, at or near the sideline.
Okay, so those are some of the things that we allow you guys to do.
This next play now starts dealing with obstructions. You will see in this case a play develop in which the runner goes to the out of bounds and coaches in the white, a game official now is contacted, either contacted by the coach or he runs into the coach in the white. This now requires an automatic 15-yard penalty. Coaches, be aware that being in the white and obstructing a game official in his duties will draw an automatic 15-yard penalty. Whether it's a brush, a bump, or a total collision, all three serve the same purpose. Be cognizant of being in the white and, of course, contacting game officials.
Okay, so this is the last one. And this
Our final series of plays deal with coaches coming onto the field and showing unsportsmanlike actions or behaviors. These kinds of actions will not be tolerated. They are not productive for the game itself, and of course, any sign of ill will is going to be penalized. Here you see a coach coming on the field to complain about an issue on the field. This will draw an automatic 15-yard penalty for his actions expressing unsportsmanlike behavior. This next video clip illustrates a coach coming on the field to call timeout. Coaches are allowed to talk with a game official on the sideline for a timeout, but not come on the field. You'll see this coach come on the field not only to call timeout, but he now wants to complain about a situation. And any sort.
That's one thing I'm going to disagree with. If you guys are driving to score, offense or defense, and you want a timeout, you can come out of the team box and go all the way down to the official and say, I want a timeout. Because we don't want to run a play when you're trying to get it stopped and that decides the game. So the officials are going to be looking. They're not going to be looking at you. We tell our deep officials to. But that's when you can come all the way out of your box and say you want timeout. But if you come out and rip the officials like this guy is, then you're going to get penalized.
Of exuberance or any sort of unsportsmanlike verbiage, actions of throwing your hands up, pointing at people, arguing, drawing a scene will bring automatic 15-yard penalty. This next video clip serves to illustrate once again unsportsmanlike behavior and actions by a coach. As you can see, as the game officials are preparing to measure for a first down, this coach comes onto the field. Right at this moment, it should have been penalized. And now he's going to complain and he's going to react in a negative manner toward their decision. Whether right or wrong, the coach should be penalized for unsportsmanlike behavior, and it'll be a 15-yard penalty as a dead ball foul at the succeeding spot. At no time should game officials allow any coach, whether it be a head coach or an assistant coach, to use profanity or make derogatory remarks and illustrate any actions that provoke ill will. This will bring an automatic 15-yard penalty. Our concluding play illustrates the worst of all scenarios. A coach storming onto the field, complaining and illustrating his dissatisfaction with a situation. Whether or not he uses profanity is immaterial. Coming onto the field, waving your arms, throwing a clipboard, taking your headset and throwing it to the ground, any kind of action that provokes ill will or dissatisfaction toward any kind of game management situation will draw an automatic 15-yard penalty. Our hope is this, along with this videotape, along with the subsequent materials that will be given to all coaches.
Okay, we don't really have, we have a little bit of a problem with the space in the wide. But in my opinion, in the last 4 or 5 years, we haven't had issues with coaches coming on the field. I don't know that we've had a coach flag for unsportsmanlike that I can remember. So this is coming from the NCAA. I'm not saying there are leagues like this because I don't think it is. Now we have 3 new guys coming in, so I don't know what they're like. But this is what the emphasis that the NCAA is putting on. So if we have any questions about any of this rule changes, we can talk about it in our next meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Craig. I think everybody can get, all the coaches need to go to the room and get a packet of materials if they want to do that now. Each coach, each of the media, if they want to go get a set of packets.
Out. Give me 2.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Hey, Craig, I'd like to apologize right now on some of those wild games.
You guys aren't the issue. Not the guy. Orange worse than Indians.
You know, we get after the quarterback. We don't have to, we get after him, all right? He doesn't like it.
No.
2013 was another great year for the Jayhawk Conference. We had 4 of our conference colleges, plus 2 Iowa Community colleges playing in NJCAA bowl games. Butler Community College and Iowa Western played in the Graphic Edge Bowl. Hutchinson Community College played in the Salt City Bowl. Dodge City played in the Valley of the Sun Bowl. Garden City played in the Football Capital Bowl, and Iowa Central played in the Graphic Edge Bowl, game number 1. It was ironic that as I came to Wichita this morning, so I was driving, I got a call from Art Becker, who used to be the past president of the NJCAA, who's now the bowl director of the Valley of the Sun Bowl. And he called me to talk about that various issues and wanted to make sure that the Valley of the Sun would like to be very cooperative with the Jayhawk Conference and the ICCAC about getting a team from here out to the Valley of the Sun Bowl, and they've increased their payback $10,000. So that's significant when it comes to bowl games. The final NJCAA poll had Iowa Western number 2, Butler number 6, Hutchinson number 17, and Dodge City number 19. So this speaks well for our conference. The first week will start on Thursday, August the 28th, with a conference game with Butler hosting Independence. Other colleges begin play on Saturday, August 30th, highlighted by Iowa Western playing Coffeyville. The side note here is that the Iowa Western president, Dr. Dan Kinney, is a past president of Coffeyville Community Colleges. As I stated, all 11 colleges have a 10-game schedule. There will not be any playoffs in the Jayhawk Conference. That's the difference we've had, that because of this new schedule. There will be no playoffs in the conference. The KJC's champion will be the KJCC team that has the most wins against Jayhawk Conference opponents. The conference college football coaches voted on the predicted order of finish, and you have that in your packet. For 2014, the voting was very close, but the vote was, the coaches just picked Butler number 1, Hutchinson number 2, number 3 Dodge City, number 4 Coffeyville. There was a tie for 5th between Garden City and Highland. Fort Scott was number 7 and Independence number 8. I would like to mention at this time, too, that we have 3 of our conference colleges with new or improved facilities. Coffeyville has a new turf. They installed this past winter and spring, and that'll add to what they're doing at Coffeyville. Garden City has a new field across the street from the campus. Independence has got a new field down on the old facility, but a brand new field and new facilities. So we're looking forward to that upgrade for all of our conference colleges. Before we get started with the coaches, I would like to tell you that the KGC webpage is changing and is in a work in progress. Russ Karn has retired, and the new webpage we hope to be up by August 15th. Mark Patrick will take over the duties of webmaster, and there'll be new instructions be sent for downloading rosters, schedules, and uploading scores. So look for the new KGC webpage. We'll ask the coaches to talk, 5 to 10 minutes, and I'd like for you, as you come up, introduce any of you have assistant coaches or guests with you before you make your presentation. After the presentation, we'll take a short break so that members of the media can visit with the coaches and have some time one-on-one. Then we'll have a coaches meeting headed up by coaches president Troy Morrill. The first one to speak will be Independence Coach Steve Carson.
Thanks, Bryce. Steve, appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to thank Bryce and Newman University and all of us. Appreciate this as coaches. Gives us a chance to talk a little bit about our programs and really about the players, because that's what it's all about. It's not about us. It's about the kids that play. And obviously, we've got some talented players in this league. Most of you that have been around this league know that this will be no exception for this year. Along with the addition of the Iowa schools will make it even more competitive. So there'll be a lot of good players to watch. Hopefully the communities will come out and support the players and see some really good football this year. This will be my 5th season starting. I've seen a lot of changes in the league from coaches to players, but it's always improved each year. I think that goes to Bryce and everybody that has been very supportive from the athletic directors to really the presidents to make sure the league improves and keeps going. As we all know, junior college football has had many upgrades in academics, making the standards much tougher for the players to go to Division I, Division II, and NAIA. So it's really a competitive situation. Our coaching staff this year, I've got a few new guys with me. Matt Lott is our offensive coordinator and coaches our offensive line. Matt's been with me for 5 years. I got to give him a lot of kudos, being with me for 5 years. So he's done a good job for us. Morris Lawler, who's from the Wichita area, played at Friends University. Morris is our defensive coordinator and coaches our defensive backs. Chris Snyder, who has also had some experience in our league, and not in our league, but in the Kansas League at Kansas Wesleyan, has also been a head coach at junior college, is coaching our quarterbacks and wide receivers. Van Jones, who is with us last year, is going to be our special teams and running backs coach. Then Brandon Chin, who's also from the Wichita area, is going to help out and coach our defensive line. So that's our coaching staff. Some of our returning guys, we don't have a lot of guys coming back, so we're pretty much a new team with our freshmen, but we do have some returning guys that hopefully will do a good job for us. Cody Brown played defensive back for us, played some corner and safety. He's from the Houston area, so we expect good things from Cody. Cody was honorable mention all conference. Josh Muckenthaler, who was our punter last year, got a lot too much work, but he did a good job for us. And Josh is from Kansas, and he was also honorable mention. Ben Waterhouse, Sinwan Whitehead, Kyler McCartney, Kerry Washington, Darian Williston all played a lot for us last year. So those are some of our returning guys. But again, most of our guys are going to be new guys, either older guys that we brought in or basically all freshmen. So, but that kind of goes with the league too. I think all of us kind of experience that. There's a few teams that may have a few more guys, but all of us have quite a few new guys. As you look at our conference, I don't think it's changed a lot other than it's a dogfight pretty much every week. You better come ready to play. You got Butler and Hutch at the top, but I've seen a lot of teams give them a tough time during the season, so it just depends on how everybody comes to play. So those may be the top two teams right now, but there'll be some other teams that'll surprise people from week to week, as we all know that in football. It's kind of like the stock market. They say people that predict have no knowledge, and people that have knowledge don't make any predictions at all. So that'll be kind of how the season will go, and you kind of go with it from there. So as I just finish up a little bit with our players and our program, obviously, the temperature's going up, so I know it's going to be football season pretty soon. The CFL's on TV, so it's right around the corner. We got pro guys going to camp, so it's always an exciting time of the year for me, even though this will be my 40th year of doing this. Still gets the juices going when you get to this time of year. I know we have to go through a lot of things to get to this time of the year, but it's also exciting when we get to this point. So again, for the guys that are coming to play at our place this year, I know you'll appreciate it more than I will, but the locker rooms and a place to shower and do those kinds of things will be an upgrade for us. A field that we don't have to worry about the rain, or press box where you can kind of sit down and have a chance to look at the game. And so we're excited about that. We've got a jumbotron that also we put up, so we're excited about the facilities. I know the community did a lot of hard work to get that going, the high school and the community involved and the college together. So I'm very appreciative to everybody at Independence to hard work on that. I wish everybody the best of luck this year, the players and coaches get through a good season. And with Craig, with the officiating, where's Craig? Craig right there. The guys do a great job. They've gotten better every year. The coaches and the players, get out there and do a clean job. We get on and off the field, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So appreciate everything, guys, that you've done. To the coaches, good luck this fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Carson, and good luck to you. Next up is Coach Curtis Horton from Fort Scott Community College.
Yep.
Again, I want to thank Bryce for all of this, Newman University. It's nice to be in a conference that you feel like it matters. It's important. To Craig, fantastic job. It's nice to be. It's professional. They take it serious, and you can tell week in and week out. And I've been at Fort Scott now going on 8 years, and it's gotten better every year, and appreciate all that. And all the support staff, the website, all that stuff, the media, obviously our recruits and families, having those access to that is a big deal, and thank you very much. As far as returners, well, let me introduce my coaches first. Coaching staff-wise, my offensive coordinator, Moses Harper, is going on his third year with me. My new defensive coordinator, Jeff Kelly, he got in with us right after the end of the school year. We actually just finished up with our summer camp, and he's doing a fantastic job. Richard Johnson, Coach Johnson, going in his third year with me, my defensive line coach. Matt Glades, I call him our number one Greyhound. He played for us at Fort Scott and then came back and he's coaching for us, and he's going to be the next president of Fort Scott Community College. And then Corey Vaught is our strength coach and our running backs coach, and he is going into his second season with us and does a great job. The conference has fantastic coaches and extremely hard workers, but I have to give my guys kudos. They do everything I ask them to do and do a tremendous job. Returning letterman, we have 7 on offense and 7 on defense, so looking at 14 there. Top players, Julian Cole, linebacker, 6'2", 215-pounder from Piper High School, Kansas City, Kansas. Also an all-academic kid. Zach Gogler, tight end, 6'4", 250 from Galena High School. He's also an all-academic kid. James Gray, defensive back, 6', 200 from Carver High School in Atlanta, Georgia. Ben Looper, offensive lineman, 6'5", 280, Springfield, Missouri, also a big academic or all-academic kid. Byron Rich, offensive lineman, 6'4", 315 from Mobile, Alabama, also an academic kid. And Jordan Walker, offensive lineman, 6'5", 315 from Karen Crow, Louisiana. Obviously those guys are going to be players that we are going to lean on this next season, and we're looking for big things for them. We're excited for them and their opportunities. How do you see the conference race? To be honest with you, you've got to give respect to all the coaches in the conference. They're extremely well coached, all well disciplined. Craig made the point about we don't have certain issues in this conference. I think it goes back to a direct reflection on the coaching staffs. As far as the attitude and the temperament of our teams across the conference. Obviously, I'm a Fort Scott fan, but I'm also a Jayhawk fan, and I take a lot of pride in the fact that they have a lot of respect there. We give up on, not give up, but we quit focusing on wins and losses, and we started working on the little things, and that's kind of our motto this year, be a man, bam. And so as far as the conference race, I'm just excited we got ranked as high as we did preseason. But we're going to take one game at a time, and we're going to focus and see what happens, and we're going to try to go 1-0 each week. Strengths, I would say strength-wise we would be, as far as continuity with the coaching staff, the players, we seem to be coming together. That team bonding. I tell the coaches all the time, we have to become a team first in the coaching staff. And so once we become a team, the players will see that and that will reflect on it. Weaknesses, obviously we do have a new defensive coordinator, but he does have a belly full of fire, and he's extremely excited, and we're excited to have it. Probably the biggest weakness, though, is our strength of schedule. When we start off, our entire schedule is hard, but we start off with Iowa Central, Hutch, Coffeyville, and Butler. Those are probably the 4 best teams in the country. We could be a pretty good daggum team and be 0-4. But obviously, like I said, we're going to focus on playing one game at a time and just continue to work. And then, top players or players in the Shrine Bowl, we have 2 players, Nick Alfredy from McLeod, and then Cortland Hayes from Independence. two fine young men, good students. Both of them have fantastic family and family support, and we're expecting big things out of them. And then, two or three players. Obviously, we talked about the players as well. Again, I appreciate this. I appreciate the professionalism. I'm excited for the season, and thank you very much.
Curtis, thank you. Good luck to you. Yes, sir. Next up will be Coach Aaron Arnold, our new coach in the conference, and wish him all kinds of good luck. And Aaron from Highland. Aaron?
First of all, I just want to say thank you again to everyone, the people here at Newman, and to Bryce for all you've done. I also want to thank Russ. Russ did a great job putting the website together, and Russ has really been a huge supporter of Highland football, so I wanted to thank him. I am truly honored to be here today, not only as a part of the Jayhawk Conference, but also representing Highland Community College. And more than anything, I'm just excited for August to be here so we can stop talking and put the pads on and start playing some football. I think everyone probably feels the same way. If I was going to describe Highland's football program right now in one word, I think the best word is probably new. I'm a new head coach. I'm a first-year head coach. I have 3 new assistant head coaches on my staff. And every coach that's a returning coach this year will be coaching a new position than what they coached last year. So for our staff, there's going to be a learning curve. But I think the exciting thing for us is the positive piece of that is there's some new energy and there's some new ideas, and I think that can be a really good thing. And I'm really excited about where my staff is headed right now. In addition to new coaches, we're going to have a lot of new players. I was telling some of these coaches earlier, last year Highland was a very talented football team, and we had a ton of sophomores on our roster, and that's great as you're going through the year. And as we worked through the recruiting process, we ended up with, I think now we've got almost 15 guys that have moved on to Division I homes. And as that's happening, it's thrilling to see these guys realize their dream, and we're so happy for them. And signing day hits, and you look at your depth chart, and you realize I got to replace 15 Division I guys off my roster, and it's not as thrilling as it was the day before. So we've got some work to do there. I think when you look at our defense, I have 0 returning starters on defense. I got about 5 guys that played some meaningful minutes for us there. So you're going to see a lot of new faces on the Highland defense. The offensive picture is not a lot better. I've got about 3 returning starters, and I maybe have 7 or 8 guys that played some serious minutes there. So, I think when you look at the talent, I think offensive skill groups can be pretty solid for us. I think our defensive skill groups have a chance to be solid as well. We're going to have some young guys in the trenches that are able to grow up in a hurry for us to be able to be competitive in this conference. We do have a great kicker coming back. It's nice to have that in your back pocket to know you've got a weapon that you can score some points with. I think probably one of the most intriguing position races for us this year will be at the quarterback position. We had an outstanding quarterback on our roster last year, Brandon Bergeron, moved on to LSU. First team all Jayhawk Conference players, pretty hard to replace. Brandon broke every passing record that we have at Highland. The exciting thing is I have 5, maybe 6 quarterbacks on the roster right now that can legitimately step up and fill that role. And where we're at right now with that, we're really just waiting for one of those guys to decide, hey, I'm going to be the man. I'm going to grab this team by the horns and take that spot. And it'll be exciting as we get into camp to see how that all plays out. In terms of the conference race, to me, it's probably one of the more intriguing years in the history of the Jayhawk Conference. We've got a new format minus the playoffs. We've got 3 new teams worked into the conference, and the 20 out-of-stater rule has kind of had a chance to mature, and people have had a chance to fill in their roster. To me, on paper, you'd think this would be the most talented Jayhawk Conference, and hopefully it'll be the most competitive Jayhawk Conference that we've had, which is exciting. The season for us, to be really frank, is kind of a giant question mark. We're a very unproven organization at this point, from top to bottom. From myself all the way right down to number 63 on the roster, we haven't done anything. And so I think the attitude that we'll have as a staff and as a program, we're going to go out with something to prove every week. My guys and my staff, we're not worried about the preseason rankings. We're not worried about the postseason rankings. We're not worried about how many games we win. We're worried about going out every day and finding a way to get better. Every rep, every opportunity we have, we just want to go out and get better. And I know if we go out and do those things, the scores will take care of themselves. In terms of our strengths, again, it's kind of a theme with us this year. It's going to be a question mark to see what our strengths are. I think one thing that I do feel good about, while I have a limited number of upperclassmen and sophomores, the group of sophomores and returning players that I have has really shown so far that they're capable of being great leaders. They've really bought into what we're trying to do with our program, and they've really been instrumental as we've got some freshmen, some newcomers on campus, and teaching them how we do things and how we do business at Highland. So I'm excited about that. Weaknesses, that category was a little bit more easy for me. Looking at statistically, we were the 5th scoring offense in the conference last year. We were the 4th scoring defense in the conference last year, which just simply isn't good enough. It's easy to say that. Obviously, we've got to score more points, and we've got to keep people from scoring so many points, and that's kind of where we're at right now. We were also, when you look at the special team stat, we were basically the worst special teams team in the conference last year, so we need to make some improvement there. My opinion, that's just a matter of effort and discipline, and those are two core values that our team is trying to learn and get a better handle on right now. We're trying to be a team that plays with greater effort and greater discipline. We were also 6th in the turnover margin last year, so we gave the ball up too many times last year, and that'll be a big priority for us as well. Again, just effort and discipline. We need to play harder on defense, and we need to be smarter and play with more discipline on offense. In terms of our newcomers, our incoming class, I'm excited about our incoming class. Everyone else is too. We've got one guy playing in the Shrine Bowl. We had 6 guys play in the Mocan All-Star game. We're excited about those guys, but I'm really excited about the class from top to bottom. Our goal with recruiting, obviously, we wanted to bring in a lot of talent, but the bigger priority for us this year was we wanted to bring in a lot of character. We want to bring in guys who can do things the right way, who can handle adversity, and who will work hard and be good people on and off the field. And after having most of those guys on campus over the summer, I feel like we've done a pretty good job with that, and I'm really excited about our freshman class. Another question mark for me, who are my important players? With 3 returning starters, the answer is, to be very frank, I don't know who my important players are. I can tell you I've got a lot of guys that are pretty good practice players right now. And if that transfers over and when the lights come on Saturday, if they can go do those things, then I'll have some guys. We won't have a lot of Rivals 5-star guys. We won't have a lot of All-Americans on our roster. What we'll have is blue-collar guys who are going to roll their sleeves up and go to work. We need 1 through 63 to be great teammates and do their jobs. And if we do that, I think we'll have a chance to be very competitive. Thank you.
Next up is Coach Matt Miller from Garden City. Coach Miller.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. First of all, I want to thank Newman University for putting on this great event. Apologize for getting here a little late today. Again, thank you, Bryce, for everything you do, and Craig for everything you do for the conference. And so excited about this season. My coaching staff has changed a little bit, actually completely turned over since last season, but I am thrilled with what I got. I mean, to have a guy like Jared Powers to come in, he's had success in this conference, been very successful since leaving the conference, and going to do a tremendous job with our offense and our offensive line. Oscar Rodriguez, he's been, had a great, run at Hutch, great run at, Emporia State, and is just a great coach. And he's my new defensive coordinator. And again, can't say enough about those guys and what they're bringing to the table and what they do. Got 3 new coaches also with Stephen Vincent, the defensive line, Eric Hickson, who was my teammate running back when I played at Kansas State, doing a great job with us with our running backs, inside receivers, and Jordan Sanders, young man, just got out of college, and he's coaching our linebackers. Very excited about him. With returning players, probably our top guy coming back would be Brandon Snell. Brandon's a very talented receiver. He's Teddy Bridgewater's first cousin, and the fruit didn't fall far from the tree with that family. So he's extremely talented. 2nd-team All-American last year. Probably our leader on defense would be Sam Green at safety. He's big, can run, can hit, can do everything you want to do. On the whole, I'm very enthused and excited about our returning Kansas guys that are going to, step up for us. That would be Matt McDonald from Kansas City Piper. He was our starting tailback last year. broke his arm against Butler, second series of the game. Trevin Weems from Meade, Kansas is really stepping up for us at safety. I was lucky enough to recruit Jordy Nelson, John McGraw at Kansas State. He is as good or better an athlete as those two guys. So that's saying a lot, but Trevin, is a fantastic football player. Linebacker, we got Dalton Gans from Ness City, Alex Newshafer from Cimarron. Two fantastic football players, great leaders, and get to do great things for us. Obviously, I think we play in the toughest conference. I think we all realize that. With the addition of the Iowa schools, when you go into a conference slate and you have to play probably the three top programs in the most, 5-10 years of junior college football, that's a daunting task. And then with the rest of you guys, it's a fantastic conference. It's going to be tough, but we're excited about what we're doing at Garden City. I think as a program, where we're stepping up is in terms of discipline. I had a lot of guys on campus this summer. Very excited about where we're at there. More focused, doing more of the little things. Excited about that. Question marks on the season would be last year. We need to have a lot more consistent play at quarterback. So hopefully someone will step up there and we get it done. Do not have any participants in the Shrine Bowl. And again, we're just excited for the season to begin. Thank you.
At the midway point, we're going to ask Scott Strohmeyer from Iowa Western to come forward and talk to us about Iowa Western this year, and hopefully he's had a chance to kind of get a little bit of the format down and everything else. So, Scott?
Appreciate it. Thank you, Ben. Kind of like everybody else, thanks to Newman, my first opportunity to come to one of these, and Bryce and Craig, and I guess one of the things we're excited about is you guys have mentioned it, is the Jayhawk Conference is a top-notch one league, but I think it's well put together, and that's what really when we were talking about this, one of the exciting things of joining the league, I guess. We know, and in the past, when we started our program 5 years ago, I think that was one of the things that I looked at is how it's run in. Some of the schools in the conference run their programs and try to build our program at Iowa Western kind of behind the same thing. It's going to be challenging. I'll tell you what, I've had an opportunity for 4 years straight, I think, to scrimmage Hutchinson preseason. I played Troy and Butler 2 years. Knowing it was 6 years ago when we started football, but 5 that we've played, we were the 10th team in our conference. We felt pretty good. Our conference wasn't going anywhere. Well, 4 years later, and we're down to 5 teams, where this kind of came, and we knew kind of a couple years ago that this could be a possibility. And I think that's one of the reasons why we kind of scheduled the way we did the last couple of years. We played 8 away games last year, traveled to Texas, to Georgia, Arkansas, North Dakota, Illinois. We traveled all over, but I wanted to make sure that we were playing top-level competition, because knowing if this does happen, you got to be ready for 11 straight weeks. So that's really the big thing we're excited about, and a lot of respect for the league prior to even being in this affiliation. My coaches, it's obviously a new year for everybody, new players, but my first time in 6 years, actually, I lost a coach who was with me for 9 and another one who was with me for 5. So I got my new offense coordinator now is Carson Pike. He's been with me for 2. And he's going to coach wide receivers. I hired a new offensive line coach, Dane Wardenberg. He played at Northwest Missouri State. And coached there for a while, and we got him away from Wisconsin Stout. Running back coach is a former player of mine, Rich Mason, when I was at Truman State University. And they just started literally 2 weeks ago. So I'm not forgetting it. Coach Blackburn's been with me for 8 years, and he's my defensive coordinator. Pat Cashmore's my defensive backs coach. This will be his first year. Jeff Monty and Will Flaherty will coach our defensive line, and going into their second. And Jeff's been with me for 8 years. So there's some changes going on within our program as well that we haven't maybe had to deal with in the past. But I guess that's the nature of the business and the programs. We have 7 guys, 4 on offense, 3 on defense, that started in some capacity last year. Not all 11 games. On offense, Tay Bender started a couple games. He was actually second team all-conference as a backup quarterback, was second on our team in rushing. He'll be back. He's was at Kansas State and transferred out of there, so he'll be with us going into his redshirt sophomore year. Alex Reed was a part-time starter before he got injured at wide receiver, is coming back. He's a Council Bluffs kid. Mike Edwards is a defensive lineman that we're excited about. He transferred in from the University of North Dakota, gave us a really good spring practice, I guess, is one of our top players coming back. D.A. Williams was a corner who started all 11 games for us, is coming back. I guess probably the spot that we probably set the best is probably our kicker and punter. They're both returning. So other than that, we don't have a lot of returners that are coming back, but we're excited about it. I think the biggest thing for me, and I think I'm talking on behalf of all the other coaches in Iowa, that we understand the challenge that's ahead of playing 11 straight games and joining this league. We're definitely excited about it. I want to wish all you guys the best of luck in the season and fall camp, and when you come to Council Bluffs, we'll welcome you there. Thank you.
Aaron Flores, Coach Flores in Coffeyville Community College, will be up next.
Like everybody else, want to appreciate Bryce, Craig, Newman, everybody that puts this on. Again, it's set up real nice and runs smooth. A lot of conferences. I was down in Mississippi for a year, and I know they do a little something, but it's nothing like what is put on through our league. I'm going on my third season down at Coffeyville Community College. We've had a huge change in our coaching staff, kind of like what Garden was saying. Our defensive coordinator, Mitchell Pate, he came up here with me today. Our D-line coach, Mike Howard. Defensive back coach, James Colsey. Our receiver coach, Angelo Mirando. Offensive line coach, William Pigler. Running back coach, I guess Dickie Rolls. Most of you know who he is. He is returned for his 20-something year down there at Coffeyville. Our tight end coach, A.J. Rochelle. Assistant on offense will be Jared Smith, and an assistant on defense will be Kevin Hahn. One of the nice things this year going into it with our staff, it was a change overall. It's happened in January, but a lot of new excitement, new energy, a lot of positive attitude. The kids fed off of that, and it's exciting to see coaches come in, jump right into the program, understand their traditions there at Coffeyville Community College and the importance and being a coach at Coffeyville, what that means. Again, our kids fed off of that this spring and felt like that led into going into our summer session of June. We do have two guys that are playing in the Shrine Bowl this weekend, one on the west side, Malik Veal, he's a running back from Salina Central, and then on the east side, a D lineman, Kanan Clark from Spring Hill. So we're excited about those guys having the opportunity to do that and represent Coffeyville Community College. I feel like we return a good group of sophomores. Again, like everybody else, with junior college, there's such a turnover each and every year that those sophomores that were freshmen that kind of did some good things, showed signs of it. Now we need them to be consistent every single snap and show that maturity and ability to step up. And now it's their time to lead a program and make the changes that they want to see as freshmen and take over that leadership role and be good leaders, not followers on that part of it. I feel like we did sign a good group of freshmen. It wasn't a large class because of the turnover, but I feel like the guys that we got there for June were able to come in and pick up the things that we're trying to lay the groundwork on for this upcoming season. It was mentioned earlier, we did get brand new turf. That does make a difference. I can tell you that just as a coach standing on it throughout spring, how big a difference it is. So I'm anxious to see how it is for our players. We also just had a groundbreaking ceremony for brand new men's dorms that are going to be done for the 2015 season. So again, our sophomores unfortunately won't have that opportunity to live in the new dorms, but our freshmen and incoming class next year will. So again, a lot of excitement down there at Coffeyville. Football is important, And you can see that from the community to the surrounding area. So it's exciting to see that everybody's on board and anxious for this upcoming season. We don't have a lot of returners. We've got a couple guys on offense and a couple guys on defense, but we do have quite a few guys that played quite a bit for us as freshmen. And again, hopefully they've grown up, matured, feel like they have throughout the spring, going into this summer. But again, until we get back on the field and you get into that head-to-head competition to see if they've been able to take the steps that you're counting on them to do. We'll talk about every day, making every rep count. That's something that we've got to be, and you hear every coach talk about consistency. That was one of our biggest things that killed us last year, is that we were so consistent on both sides of the ball. We'd show signs of doing things the right way and getting momentum, but we always found a way to kind of take a step back and let it snowball in the wrong direction. So I feel our guys, with the new systems that we've got coming in, with our defense and offense, like I said, our kids have bought into that. We try to simplify some things, but it's our job as coaches to continually put them in good situations. So I feel like with our new staff and the guidance that they're giving our young men, that we're going to put our guys in good position to have success on each and every snap with it. So that's something we're looking forward to. We do open up on the road. Again, no easy test at all. Going up to Iowa Western, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It should be nice and heated up at that point. So conditioning throughout camp and how we provide getting our guys in shape is going to be very important going into that first game on the road and seeing how guys step up with that opportunity. And it's an exciting opportunity to know that you've got 11-game schedule, that you're going to be working each and every week, that you're going to have to make some adjustments, I think, to how the schedule goes, even practice a little bit, because it is something different knowing that you're going 11 weeks in a row, no bye week. How do you adjust and make sure that you're getting the kids fresh and ready to go each and every week with it. Some of our top players that we've got coming back, and again, you just never know till you get to that first game. We've got defensive end Timmy Hamilton from Capon. He's got some Division I offers right now. Did some good things as a freshman, but we need more consistency out of him each and every snap this year. Jonathan Villanueva from Wichita North is an offensive lineman for us that has done a good job this spring, and feel like he's going to bring a lot of leadership up front. We've got another offensive lineman from Bishop Miege, Ryan Sinkler. Again, did some good things as a freshman, and everybody will talk about how important it is up front, and that's what we've got to have on both sides of the ball. It starts up front for us. Running back Cody Busby did some good things from Salina South. Again, he's just got to be able to stay healthy and fight through a couple things with that. And Mike Shirk led the conference last year in tackles as a linebacker. He's also from Salina South. Excited to see his sophomore year. A couple out-of-state guys that we've got. Dominique Reed is a guy who was with us 2 years ago, was not in our program last year. He is back, had a good spring. Feel like he's one of those guys that has matured on and off the field. Sometimes when you take a step back and you get in the real world, you find out that, hey, there's some more things I've got to learn as a young man in order to prepare me for the real world. So we're excited to have him back with it. Bobby Leeds, a D lineman for us. He's out of Florida. He's getting some offers, which, again, consistency. And Devontae Foster as a safety for us. He does a great job leadership-wise, guidance, and getting guys in the right positions. So that's kind of where we're at as a program. The conference is always exciting because each and every week you've got to prepare, and you can't take a step back and get your breath. It's a grind, it's a race, it's something that you got to do as a coach, but you got to be able to balance that with the players and get them prepared each and every week to go out and have success. So we're looking forward to this upcoming season and wish everybody in the conference and the Iowa schools the best of luck, and look forward to seeing everybody. Thank you.
Aaron, thanks. Next up is Coach Gary Thomas from Dodge City Community College. Gary.
Extremely honored to be here. Kind of like Coach Strohmeyer spoke about earlier, when I had the opportunity to come to Dodge City Community College in the Jayhawk Conference. Football, junior college football specifically in the upper Midwest was basically disappearing. We were 5 teams in Illinois when I first got there, and we were the last one standing when I left. And obviously the Jayhawk Conference is something everybody knows about and everybody had heard of, but having an opportunity now to be here, it really is a first-class operation. Everything from obviously our leadership to our officiating to the other conference head coaches, coaching staffs, players. It's a grind week in, week out. We have a bunch of very, very well-coached teams and a lot of super talented players on every single roster. So from that standpoint, I couldn't be happier from where we were last year to where we're going. I wish I knew where that was, the direction. We know where we want to be, but the direction of our program is we're going to be young, which is a little bit scary. Obviously, I'm humbled by the preseason predictions, but obviously those are probably somewhat predicated on our finish last year. We took over an 0-9 football team that had won 6 games in 6 years and finished second in the conference. So we're extremely proud of what we accomplished last year, but we lost a good portion of those guys, and what people, I think, at least in our own community, they obviously think now we should win every football game because we had a good season. But what they don't realize is when our recruiting class last year was, we had some good football players that helped us win, but it wasn't a very complete class. We had some guys that did really well for us and some guys that didn't. And when you have an opportunity to have some success, your recruiting class gets a little bit better. So this year's recruiting class was obviously a lot better than last year's, and some of those kids will beat out guys that are returning in our program. So we'll continue to be young again this year. And we just did have a lot of sophomores that helped us accomplish what we did. And last year was a unique season for us. The stars kind of aligned. I think we managed to stay pretty healthy. We didn't have any discipline issues, which would have forced us to be shorthanded at some positions. And we ended up winning 4 games in the fourth quarter last season, which, in all honesty, could have gone either way. We were fortunate enough to be on the good side of it, but had those things gone the other way, some balls bounced the other way, and we obviously be having a drastically different conversation right now. So we're excited about where we were. We feel fortunate to finish the way we did, but we also understand that the things that happened for us happened because we worked hard and because we had a resilient group that didn't panic, and they just kind of had a team chemistry, which is hard to duplicate. So it's hard to guesstimate where this group is going to end up and how they're going to gel together. All we can do is, control the things that we can control as a coaching staff and hope they figure it all out in the end. We ended up having close to, I think, 10 Division I guys last year, had closer to 22 guys that went on to play at 4-year programs this year all over the country. We're excited about that. Had a lot of guys graduate, which is even more important. In Dodge City, things are changing. I know I'm still probably the new guy in town, but we have an extremely supportive administration. Lots of construction going on campus. We just finished a brand new men's dorm that'll be open in a couple weeks. We have a brand new women's dorm, which is only a year old. We just finished our brand new practice facility on campus last August, so it's a year old. We're getting ready to break ground on a $7 million indoor student activity center, which would be a well-needed thing on campus for not only the athletes that are there, but all of our student body. But our administration is very supportive of what we're trying to accomplish and how we do it, and they've given us, resources to be successful, which is very fortunate to have put together the coaching staff that we put together because of the opportunities that they give me to do that with. We were very fortunate, didn't lose a coach this year, and as probably all the coaches can attest, staff continuity is probably as important as anything else, because not only do you have to coach your kids, you got to coach your coaches and have your coaches coach your kids. So we bring our whole staff back except for two young additions to our staff. Our defensive coordinator, Pat Callahan, who was one of my coaches in junior college, has done a great job as long as I've known him. He'll be back. Our offensive line coach, Kurt Langren, is back, who played at the same junior college as me, so we kind of have the same upbringing, the same beliefs on how to do stuff. Gunnar Twiner, our wide receiver coach, is back, did a great job for us. We had 3 Division I wide receiver signees last year. Jeff Eugene, our defensive line coach, was kind of the new guy last year and did a great job for us. Tim O'Neill was a former player of mine that we hired on as our linebacker coach, and will do a lot of our special teams this year. And our two young guys, a young man named Brandon Vinson, who played for me back at College of DuPage, played a little bit for the Chicago Bears, Tennessee Titans, and wants to get into the coaching realm, so he'll coach our running backs. And Chris Patterson, actually a young man who played at Joliet Junior College, who I actually coached against, was a phenomenal player, ended up playing at K-State and graduated from there. We all have one thing in common, which I think is important. We're all products of the junior college system from various states, so we all have a version of what junior college should look like and what that experience meant to us, and have the ability to convey that to our kids because we've walked in their shoes. Things that we ask them to do, standards that we hold them to, I think are very important because it's things that we've experienced and things that we think are important for us to be successful day in and day out. Our recruiting class we're excited about, similar to everybody else. We have two young men that are playing in the Shrine game, Cole Cruz out of Hutch and James Newton out of Field Kinley High School. Both of them should come in and have an opportunity to help us as freshmen. We really do feel good about the direction we went with our recruiting class and the kids that have bought in. Like I said, we don't have a lot of returning starters. But if you're going to have one, I'm glad it's the one that we have. Our quarterback is back, was a 10-game starter for us and really played well throughout the season. And he's only gotten better. I think he'll be one of the better ones that this conference will have. And that's in a pretty elite field of young men. At running back position, Kimani Gabriel was our backup last year, a very capable young man, but he backed up the conference player of the year, so he didn't get quite as many touches as he probably would have liked, but has developed and put himself in a position to probably have a pretty good season for us. Toma King is a young man out of Wichita Heights, had a great junior year, ended up blowing his knee out in the summer before his senior year, so he played a little bit for us last year, wasn't quite ready coming off a knee injury to contribute the way that he would have wanted to, but we'll play him at running back, play him in the slot a little bit, and I think he'll have a good year for us. Jared Mowry kind of plays a fullback, H-back, tight end position for us. He's a Dodge City kid. He's a veteran, was in the Army, and has had a great freshman year and is starting to figure things out a little bit, that position for us. Wide receiver, I think we have a chance to be pretty talented. William French was our only freshman starter last year at wide receiver, caught about 35 balls for us. Pretty talented young man in the slot. I think he'll be one of the better ones that we get to see this year, and luckily we get to see him on an everyday basis. James Bynes is a young man that transferred in at semester or at mid-year, and Christian Booker are two new faces, but I think right now the way they're playing, they're as consistent as anybody we have, and a couple of them have. James actually has an early offer from some schools, so he's excited about the possibilities that he has in front of him. Of the young guys, James Newton, obviously, who I already talked about, young man that can run pretty well. TJ Stinson is a young man at Leavenworth High School who has come in and done some really things that we didn't even think he was capable of here early in the summer, and probably play a lot for us. A young man named Braden Smith out of Larned also has come in and done a pretty good job for us early this summer. So we're excited about that group. A lot more depth than we had last year. We were always hanging on a thread pretty much at every position last year, because if anything went wrong, it was going to go wrong big. So we're excited to have a little more depth and a little more stability. Offensive line, Dominique Calhoun's a young man out of Wichita Heights who redshirted for us last year, had a great offseason, and he's going to come in and compete for our starting center position, along with Cole Cruz, who I already mentioned, and a young man named Kevrick Cox from Salina South High School, who comes from a pretty good background and a very talented football team. Mason Rains is a kid who's competing right now to start at right tackle for us out of Oakley High School. And William Fick is a transfer from a four-year school who's come in and done pretty well also. Defensive tackle, Aaron Thomas played. He was in our rotation last year. Should have another great season for us. Should be a better version of himself, as we like to put it. Trey Williamson's a guy who went through the spring with us, also a four-year transfer, who is big and strong, and we think shouldn't have any issues as far as coming in and plugging everything in the middle for us. Defensive end, Jacob Harshberger is a young man at Dodge City High School who we think has a chance to come in and start as a freshman for us. Had a great high school career. Linebacker would be our only returning starter on defense is a young man named Ted Taylor, who had a great freshman year, and he's coming back. TJ Clark from Fowler High School and Kalen Elliott from Wichita North, two young men that are kind of in the mix right now to play in that linebacking group as freshmen. And then safeties, a young man named Ladarian Bowman and a young man named Antoine Turnage are two kids that kind of have impressed us early on. But it's really a wide open competition. I mean, I probably could tell you 60 other names if you really wanted them. It's going to be wide open. It's really going to come down to not really the biggest, fastest, and strongest guy for us. It's going to come down to the guys that play our scheme the best and buy into what we're doing and are consistent on a daily basis. But we're excited about where we're at. We're excited about where we're going. Just similar to what everybody else said, it's going to be a grind for 11 straight weeks, and there's not a week off to even catch your breath or think that you have some downtime. So I wish everybody the best of luck. We know we're going to need it, but we're excited to get rolling and get going.
Next, Coach Ryan Rhodes, Hutchinson Community College. Coach Rhodes.
Well, this is a press conference, so I really appreciate having some media here. This is my 10th year in the Jayhawk Conference. I was 2 years as a defensive coordinator at Coffeyville. I was head coach for Fort Scott for one season, and then have been at Hutchinson for 7 years now. So I've been to a lot of these, and some of them are a little bit more well attended than others. So I really appreciate our TV, radio, and print media that are here. Specifically, I'd like to give a shout out to the Hutch folks, Kyle and Brad with the Hutch News, and then Darren's here, along with Glenn Grunwald and Rob Dreyer, Rusty Hills, to work with Eagle Communications there in Hutchinson. We're really excited to work with good people, and thankful for everybody being here media-wise to get the word out about our conference and about the exciting new things that are developing as a part of the Jayhawk Conference and the Iowa Community College Conference Alliance. I, too, would like to thank Bryce for just doing a great job of leading our conference. Progress starts with leadership, and I definitely know that he's had a lot to do with success, not just in football, but just conference-wide. He leads not only in our conference, but through the NJCAA, and so I really appreciate Bryce. I appreciate Craig Helser and all his hard work. He lives it, and that's the thing that us coaches, we're out there on game day on Saturday, and a lot of people don't understand that there's a lot of time that goes into it outside of that 3-hour window of a game that makes you either successful or not. And I really appreciate how much time Craig invests in making sure that we have great officiating. I would also like to mention, even though they're not here, a couple of guys very, very important to my success and to our success at Hutchinson. Our former president, Dr. Ed Berger, retired after 20-some years of service to our college, and he was an unbelievable supporter of our program and a great guy, a good mentor. And we have a new president, Dr. Carter File, who we're very excited about at Hutchinson Community College, and he too has been very supportive. He was a vice president that got moved up, and so we're excited about the newness of that also, and the direction we're headed as a college. I'd like to thank my athletic director who's here, Randy Stang, for his leadership, and would also like to recognize Steve Carpenter, our sports information director, that's here today too. I have one assistant here. Phil Ockingay is here. He's our offensive coordinator and coaches our running backs and tight ends. Our other offensive coaches are Greg Cross, who's a quarterback's coach, Daryl Ballard, who's new to our staff. He's our pass game coordinator and receivers coach. And then Tyler Brock is our run game coordinator and coaches our offensive line. On defense, Dion Manili is our defensive coordinator, coaches our linebackers. Todd Middleton is new to our staff. He's coaching our defensive line. And then Thaddeus Brown is our defensive backs coach and recruiting coordinator. So really have a great staff, as many of the coaches have mentioned today. it does begin with the staff, and as Coach Horton said earlier, modeling that chemistry and that teamwork is big for us as well, and I have a great group of guys that I get to work with each day, which makes life much more pleasant. I would like to thank Mark Patrick also. Mark, I know, has done a lot to help with many things behind the scenes, some of which I probably have no idea about, but I know he does a lot, and really appreciate Mark. Wanted to welcome Coach Arnold as a new head coach. I remember as I was putting together my notes for this, I was thinking back to 2006, going to the press conference as a first-time head coach at Fort Scott, and just some of the thoughts that were going through my mind at that point. Coach, I could probably share some interesting stories with you about that, but had no idea what I was getting into, and if I did, I probably wouldn't have taken the job, so some things it's good you learn later. Would also like to welcome Coach Strohmeyer to our event today. He and I have gotten to be good friends. I think the world of him. His success speaks for itself. Besides being a great football coach, he's just a great guy too, so I'm excited to have him here with us. Just a few comments about the Scheduling Alliance. I think it's just such a neat deal that we can do something like this. It takes a lot of coordination. It takes a lot of give and take from both sides to put together a scheduling alliance and to really develop a partnership. And so I think everybody is excited about a new format and kind of a new direction. The old way was good. The new way looks like it's going to be good, and it's just going to be exciting to see how it all plays out. But the one thing that's for sure is the level of football is going to be really good, and we know that. Even in the short time that Iowa Western's had football, they've already won a national championship and been very good, very near the top every year. And so, we know that they have a quality program. Ellsworth has great history. Iowa Central has always had some good teams and has a very veteran-oriented coaching staff as well. So I think it's going to be a great situation. I look forward to seeing some new places, meeting some new people, and really doing something new with the Scheduling Alliance with the Iowa Conference. We return 4 offensive starters and 5 defensive starters. We return a total of 19 lettermen. A list of those guys, as well as our transfers and red shirts, and some of the guys we think might be our top newcomers are in the packet. Don't want to go into a lot of detail, I guess, since you do have that information in front of you, but we're very excited about our team. We felt like we had one of the best groups coming out of spring football that we've had at Hutchinson. A combination of talent and character that we felt very good about. We definitely have some question marks. In the short time that we've been around our new guys, we're really excited about those guys as well. They have developed a good work ethic. Some of them came in with it. Some of them have had to learn that in the short time they've been with us. But we're really excited about those guys as well. We do have 8 guys playing in the Shrine Bowl. And as far as our season, looking forward to this season, I would just say that we're really excited to see what we can do. As I mentioned, the group that we left spring football with is a really good group of guys just to be around. They're pleasant, and that too just makes a coach's job so much more enjoyable when you got good guys that want to get out there and work, that are ambitious, and we definitely have that. As we enter into this season, it's a little bit different than in years past. We drew the open date for the first week, and so our opening game is a little bit different type of game than what we've opened with in the past. We're playing Bethany JV to start things off, and then our first real game, so to speak, I guess, would be with Fort Scott in week 2. And so it's going to be a little bit different start with that, having a non-conference JV team as an opponent in game 1. But we're going to deal with it. That's the way the schedule fell, and so we're going to deal with it and just make the most of it. We do feel like we have a tough schedule as well, really because we've got a bunch of good coaches and good teams in this conference and in Iowa. As far as our strengths go, we feel like our front seven, there's just some returning guys in there that are pretty good football players, that have some experience and that we feel like we can count on. We feel like our running back position as well as our tight ends on the offensive side should be pretty solid as well. We do have a great group to work with. I feel like that's definitely a strength. We do have a great group of coaches that work hard, and just in general, the excitement for our program and in our community is very high, and so we really appreciate that. We do have a lot of great support, and as I mentioned, that support, an exciting thing that we have going on at our football complex there at in the stadium is we're expanding our facility, and so the first phase of a multi-million-dollar project is a new weight room, and so we're hoping to be in that mid-September. It's going to be really, really nice, and just a credit to the great support that we get in Hutchinson. And so eventually, when that thing is all done, it's going to be pretty state-of-the-art for this level, and really just complete what we feel like is a pretty nice set of facilities already. As far as challenges, boy, there's many of them. Just thinking about the question marks at quarterback, receiver, O-line, DB, and specialist. I mean, I named off about all of them. We just have question marks really at those spots. We feel like we got some good candidates, but really don't know exactly who's going to be playing in those spots. We feel like we got a challenging schedule. We go back-to-back weeks to Iowa Western one week and then to Ellsworth the next. Those are challenges with 18 to 20-year-old guys. And we're overall very excited about this football season. I just want to mention this as well. It's been said before, but I really have a lot of respect for the coaches in this room. Just some really good people. Once we start the season, we go into kind of a different mode of we're competing against each other, and it's like a guy becomes the enemy all of a sudden. But stepping back at a moment like this and thinking about it, I mean, they're good guys, just really good people, guys that outside of football, if we all lived in the same town, we'd probably all hang out together, So I think that's cool. We're like-minded. Our families are important to us. Taking care of our players, making sure they graduate and have a good experience. Those things are all important to us. And so as I close, I just want to say I'm thankful to be a football coach. I truly think that God's put me in a position to do this because it's an opportunity to make a difference. And with all the crazy stuff that goes on in our world, to be able to do something where you can make a difference in the lives of young men who are going to go and be leaders of their families and of businesses and all different things for our future, I think it's pretty cool to get to be a football coach. So I appreciate everybody being here, and I look forward to a great season.
Thank you. Now we want to hear from Coach Troy Morrill, Butler Community College.
Thank you. I know everybody's been sitting here for a while, so it feels good to stand up for a second. Want to, start out again by echoing many thanks to everybody that helps put this on, starting with Bryce Roderick and the leadership with everything in our conference, and Mark Patrick, all that he does to, kind of behind the scenes to get things organized for us, and the hard work that he puts in. Craig with the officials, I know every coach has mentioned him, and it goes without saying again, the hard work, the commitment that those guys go through. It's interesting to know that, some of you may know this, you may not, but those guys do a tremendous amount of training. It's not just, hey, I want to be an official. Here's your stripes, go at it. They have to meet a lot of different criteria and do a tremendous amount of training, and some of that even comes out of their own pockets. So appreciate those guys and the hard work they put in to help the product on the field that we all are a part of. So I also want to say thanks to Randy Stang for everything that he does with the region and the time and effort that he puts in. Special thanks to all the media for coming out today. It's great to see so many people here today supporting our conference, and it is truly an honor to be a part of this conference. As a player myself and now as a coach, it means a lot to have you all here today. So special thanks to Matt Jacobs and Randy Smith from Butler, and appreciate everything that you guys do for us and day in and day out there. So we had a good year last year, won the championship, and went on and got to play in another bowl game, and definitely excited about this season coming up. We had a nice award that we received about a month ago, I guess it was, for our overall team GPA being a 3.03, and we're named the NJCAA Academic Team of the Year. So I give a lot of credit to our academic support, our coaches, definitely our players for the commitment. There's no question you've got to be a student, to be at Butler, and as well as a good athlete. And we wanted that 3.0 GPA for many, many years and have never gotten it until this season. So I'm very, very proud of that. A lot of thanks to my coaching staff. We lost a couple coaches this year that were part-time guys, and we'll miss them, but our core of our staff is still together, and thankful for those guys, all the work that they put in. As far as this season comes up, I was excited after spring practice ended with the, number one, just about our team chemistry and the character of our guys. Great work ethic, and I think every coach will tell you when you get to the point to where you're not having to continue to repeat things, and those guys can kind of take some initiative as far as the players go on their own to work themselves out, do the things they've got to do. It takes a great weight off of everybody's shoulders, and those guys take ownership in it. That's a huge part of it. But as far as some of our returning players and so forth, top offensive returners, Chris Carson, running back from last season, is a guy that we're really excited about. Had a great spring and has really gotten bigger, stronger, faster, all the things that you hope that they will do. Another guy that I'm excited about that played quite a bit, started some games for us, Brady Moore, wide receiver. Very, very gifted young man. You look at him, he's a specimen. He's 6'5" or 6'6", and 220-pound wide receiver. So we're excited about him and his leadership. Will Smith, offensive lineman from Shawnee, Kansas, is another guy that played quite a bit last year, started a few games here and there for us, and look to him to be a leader up front for us on the offensive line. Most of our starters return on the defensive side. Phil Williamson, a linebacker, saw significant playing time last season for us. Expect big things from him this year. Antoine Hadley is another guy that played corner. He played safety. Very talented kid, really stature-wise for a DB. He almost looks like a defensive lineman out there, defensive end with his length, but he's a guy that's athletic and can do some different things. Yorick Jones, defensive lineman. Played quite a bit again for us last season and has been a good leader for us in this offseason. And defensive back Toby Omley. He's a brother of Tate Omley that started for us a couple years ago, and Toby will be back for us again, and excited about him. So we've got a few transfer guys, redshirt guys. Derek Lee, a tight end from Mays, came in the spring, did a tremendous job. Excited about what he's going to bring to our football team. Bakari Triggs, some of you that follow basketball, especially the media, had a twin brother that both those guys were basically our point guards on our basketball team the last 2 years. And Bakari always wanted to play football. He'd come by my office, we'd hang out, we'd talk, and I was always, hey, just focus on basketball. That's where your the reason that brought you here, but he came out in the spring and just did tremendous. He'll be a corner for us this year, and excited for him to have his opportunity to play football. So as far as overall strengths and weaknesses, I think strengths, running back, defensive line, defensive backs, because of those guys that I mentioned, some experience coming back and returning. Weaknesses, special teams, kicking game. We're going to be brand new, have freshman kicker, punter, snapper, the whole thing. So, we definitely are anxious to see who that will be. And Shrine Bowl players, we have 13, so we're excited to see what those guys are able to do and how they'll transition from high school. We feel like we addressed our needs in recruiting, and it's going to be an exciting season, to say the least, with adding the Iowa schools in as a common opponent for everyone. I sit back and look at the faces out there, and everybody mentioned Coach Arnold. Shoot, I sat in Coach Arnold's living room one night trying to recruit him at Scott City High School. So that makes me feel old, I guess. But there are a lot of really good coaches here in this league, and adding the Iowa schools will definitely bring a new challenge to it. 11 straight games, as everybody mentioned, will be a grind and something that we'll all have to juggle, as far as our scheduling goes, and day by day classroom work gets done and travel and all that added into it. So I think it'll definitely be an exciting thing for fans, for junior college fans, especially across the country, to see. I think there'll be a lot of anticipation for it too, which is exciting. So again, with that being said, I want to wish everybody good luck, and let's make 2014 the best season ever. Thanks.
Well, I think the theme, as we all listen, is new, fresh, excitement, exciting. I think that's what we're all looking forward to, and wish everybody good luck. I also want to recognize Matt Jacobs, Assistant Athletic Director at Butler, and he's going to help us, been helping Matt and I, along with Steve Carpenter, with their website. We're going to rely on Matt to make sure we get some directions out to everybody on how to use the new website and this sort of thing. So, Matt, appreciate the help there. And, of course, again, as everybody said, I really appreciate the work and effort that Craig Helzer puts into working with the officials. When you have good officiating and you keep coaches somewhat happy on the sideline with the officiating, makes the commissioner's job a lot easier. So I really appreciate what Craig does for me and the conference. So at this time, that concludes the remarks from the coaches. We'll give a break and let individual media talk to coaches again. Thanks to the media for all being here. I appreciate your patience. Got lengthened out a little, but I appreciate your patience. Appreciate you being here. Let's take some time and give you an opportunity to talk to some individual coaches. Then we'll get the coaches together for a meeting. So thanks.